Hello everyone. In this part, I'll talk about an introduction to wave mechanics. Here, electron will be considered as wave, thereby the wave nature of electron. In the last video, I have talked about some important success in the earlier quantum mechanics, where electron is to be considered as particle. Thereby, I have talked about the Bohr atomic theory and Bohr model of hydrogen atom emission spectrum, the Rydberg equation, from where you can calculate the wavelength and other properties of this electron when it moves from one orbit to another orbit. From now onwards, I'll talk about the wave nature of the electron. So, the quantum theory of radiation proposed by Max Planck and Albert Einstein implies a particle nature of light. In addition, light also have wave nature which can be proved by the phenomena interference and diffraction. In the similar manner, in 1924, Louis de Broglie argued that if the light is composed of particles and yet it shows wave-like property, the same should be true for electron and other particles. Thereby, the term coined wave-particle duality. Hence, de Broglie combines the concept of classical mechanics with the idea of wave-like properties, and he shows that a particle with mass m and momentum mv possesses an associated wavelength lambda, and this lambda is called de Broglie wavelength, and this is the equation lambda is equal to h by mv, where h is the Planck's constant. Similarly, like light, it has wave property and particle property. Now, light wave property you can find by this Einstein equation E is equal to h nu Planck's equation, and if you replace this nu by c by lambda, you will get h c by lambda. Similarly, for light, it has also particle property, and if you use this Einstein equation E is equal to mc square, and thereby if you combine these two equations, basically you will get E is equal to h nu, which is equal to mc square, by combining these particle properties and wave-like property, and thereby you can see that if you replace this new c by lambda is equal to mc square, if you cancel out one c and rearrange this equation, you will get lambda is equal to h by mc. So you can see that by combining these two properties, wave-like properties and particle-like property, one can get this associated wavelength of the light. Similarly, for particle, if you change this with velocity v, you will get the de Broglie wavelength lambda. One important consequence of this phenomena is that de Broglie relationship of this equation, important physical observation, which is a consequence of the de Broglie relationship. An electron moving with the velocity v, electron which is moving with the velocity v is equal to 6 into 10 to the power 6 meter per second, with the potential of 100 volt, it has an associated wavelength 120 nanometer. Now this associated wavelength of having such an electron are diffracted as they pass through the crystal, and hence this phenomena is the basis for electron diffraction technique used to determine structure of chemical compounds. Now let's try this problem, and you can check the answer after doing by your own. So the question says that the de Broglie wavelength of electron waves in two orbit is 3:5. What is the ratio of kinetic energy of electron in these two orbit? So you can see that the question suggests de Broglie wavelength of electron in two orbits. For example, lambda 1, lambda 2, reach 3 by 5, 3:5. So where lambda is the de Broglie wavelength. So from de Broglie wavelength equation, you know this equation, lambda is equal to h by mv, where the v is the velocity of the electron, m is the mass of the electron. Now you can rearrange this equation like mv is equal to h by lambda, and similarly v is equal to, you can see that, h by m lambda. Now we all know that kinetic energy of the electron can be written as 1 by 2 mv square. Now if you replace this value mv and v with by the equation, de Broglie equation, we have get the value mv h by lambda and into v h by m lambda. You will find that h square by 2m lambda square, that is kinetic energy is inversely proportional to lambda square, that is the de Broglie wavelength. So therefore the question says that what is the ratio of kinetic energy. So kinetic energy of the first orbit, the first electron, with respect to second electron will be lambda 1 square lambda inversely proportional to this lambda. So thereby if you can replace this value with this value lambda 1 by lambda 2, if we just inverse it, lambda 2 by lambda 1, it will be 5 by 3. So 5 by 3 whole square. So therefore energy ratio will be E kinetic energy 1 is to E kinetic energy 2 will be 25 is to 9. So this is the answer. So this will be the answer, 25 is to 9. So you can see that I have just used this equation, lambda is equal to h by mv, that is nothing but de Broglie equation. And if you change this mv and put this mv and v value to this kinetic energy equation, you will get the relation of this kinetic energy with the wavelength of the electron. Thereby if you can uh, replace this kinetic energy value with the already given ratio 3:5, you will get the value 25:9. Uncertainty principle. If an electron has wave-like properties, there is an important and difficult consequence. It becomes impossible to know exactly both the momentum, that is mv, and position, that is the x, of the electron at the same time. This is a statement of Heisenberg uncertainty principle. It states that it cannot be possible to define the position of the electron and momentum of the electron at the same time. So this is the general equation of this Heisenberg uncertainty principle, where delta x into delta p is greater than is equal to h by 4 pi, where delta x is the uncertainty in determining the position of the electron and delta p is the uncertainty in the determining the momentum of the electron. So therefore the more accurately you know the position of the electron, that means that delta x will be very small, the less accurately you know the momentum, that is there will be high value of the delta p, and vice versa. So if you can just rewrite this equation, delta x is equal to h by 4 pi into delta p, you can see that when delta x is known, like position is known, so delta x uncertainty in his position will be very low, will be low. So therefore the delta p uncertainty in its momentum will be very high. So at best we can describe the position and velocity of an electron by a function which is called probability distribution function, which is given as psi square, where psi is called wave function. It's a mathematical function. It is called wave function, which describes the behavior of the electron wave. In the later part I will talk about more on this wave function psi. The probability of finding the electron at a given point of space is determined from this function psi square, but the psi is the wave function. Now let's do this example on uncertainty principle numerical. First read out the question very carefully and then solve it by your own. So the question says that the uncertainty in the momentum delta p of a ball traveling at 20 meter per second is given as 10 to the power minus 6 of its momentum. Calculate the uncertainty in the position delta x where the mass of the ball is given 0.5 kg. So first write down the values given here. The uncertainty of the momentum delta p is equal to 10 to the power minus 6 into p as given by here, where p is the momentum, p is equal to mv. So if you calculate the m and put the value of m and v, m is 0.5 kg and velocity is 20 meter per second. It will be comes out to be 10 kg meter second inverse. So therefore the delta p becomes, if you put this value 10, it will become 10 to the power minus 5 is kg meter second inverse. So now you can put this delta p in the Heisenberg uncertainty principle equation, where delta x into delta p greater than is equal to h by 4 pi. So therefore delta x will be h by 4 pi into delta p. So if you put the value of h, that is a Planck's constant, 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule into second divided by 4 pi into delta p, that is the 10 to the power minus 5 kg meter second inverse. So the value comes out to be 0.527 into 10 to the power minus 29 meter. Now for the unit conversion you can see that is joule into second divided by kg meter second inverse. So joule you can write as kg meter square second inverse 2 into second divided by this kg meter second inverse. So if you cancel out this kg second inverse and meter, the final unit will be comes out as meter. So you can see that for the ball, this ball having this mass 0.5 kg, so velocity you can determine quite nicely, 20 meters per second, and momentum, therefore the momentum delta p, this low value 10 to the minus 5 kg meter second in, but if you can calculate the position of its uncertainty delta x, you can see that the value is very low, like 0.27 into 10 to the minus 29 meter. So there is a huge uncertainty in its position. You cannot determine the position and the velocity of this particle simultaneously at a particular time. Now coming to the wave function part. Now what is wave function? Wave function is a variable quantity which characterize the de Broglie waves is known as wave function, and it is denoted by the symbol psi. Thus, where psi is a function of position and time. So you can see that the state is characterized by complex wave function psi. So wave function psi is a complex quantity which has no physical meaning. Itself it has no physical meaning. However, if you multiply this psi with its complex conjugate psi star, it gives a real significance value. I will come into the later part. So the value of the wave function psi associated with a moving particle at a point xyz and time t gives the probability of the finding the particle at that time and at that point. So the probability of the finding a particle or electron is given by this quantity psi square, where psi is the wave function. So you can see that the modulus of this psi square is a real and positive quantity. This psi square represents the probability density or probability of the finding particle in a given region. Where you can see that this psi square dx dy is dz. This term, this is called probability density. The probability density of the finding particle at time t inside a volume element dx dy dz. This is a volume element. So therefore the probability can be written as P is the probability is equal to integration over whole space triple integration this term psi square d tau, where d tau is equal to dx dy and dz, and the probability value lies between 0 to 1. So the probability values, it will lies in between 0 to 1. And for a normalized wave function, this part, this integration psi square d tau will be equal to 1 for a normalized wave function. So therefore the summary is that the physical significance of this wave function. So first part, the wave function psi alone cannot describe anything about the particle, about the electron, but the psi star or the psi square, this quantity is a real and positive value. It gives the probability of finding the electron for a particular space. Quantum mode wave mechanics. Schrodinger applied the idea of electron behaving as wave to the problem of electrons in atoms. So that I have already discussed in the wave mechanics, electron is considered to be as wave. So by using this concept, solution to wave equation gives set of mathematical expression which is known as wave function psi, and this wave function psi each describes the allowed energy state of an electron, and thereby quantization introduced naturally. So therefore the probability of finding the electron at any point around the nucleus can be determined by the help of Schrodinger wave equation, which I will discuss in the next slide. So by knowing the Schrodinger equation, you can able to calculate this wave function psi and thereby the psi square, from where the probability of an electron can be calculated. Schrodinger wave equation. Information about the wave function psi is obtained from the Schrodinger wave equation, which can be set up and solved either exactly or approximately. The Schrodinger equation can be solved exactly only for species containing one nucleus and only one electron, like hydrogen like system. For example, hydrogen, helium, helium plus one each, helium plus. So all these atom, they have a single electron and a nucleus. So these are called hydrogen like atom or hydrogen like ion containing a nucleus and only one electron. So the Schrodinger wave equation may be represented in several forms. One of the form is shown over here. You can see that this is a second order derivative of wave function psi, Schrodinger wave function psi, with respect to the position along x axis. So this is the second derivative part, del square psi divided by del x square plus 8 pi square m by h square multiplied of E minus V, where capital E is the energy, capital V is the potential energy, multiplied with psi is equal to 0. So this is the one of the form of the Schrodinger wave equation. So this gives the form of Schrodinger wave equation that is appropriate for a particle moving along x direction. But in reality, electrons move in three-dimensional space. So an appropriate form of the Schrodinger equation can be rewritten as using these all the coordinate del square psi del x square plus del square psi del y square plus del square psi del z square plus 8 pi square m by h square into e minus v into psi is equal to 0. So this is the appropriate form of the Schrodinger equation in three-dimensional space, where m is the mass of the electron, v is the potential energy of the electron, and capital E is the total energy. So if you rearrange or rewrite this equation, so you can see that by if you rewrite equation, you can find out that minus del square psi del x square plus del square psi del y square plus del square psi del z square minus v psi is equal to e psi. If you take out this psi common for the both side, you can see that, or minus del square by del x square plus del square by del y square plus del square by del z square minus v into psi is equal to e psi. Here this term minus within the bracket del square psi by del x square, del square psi by del y square, del square psi by del z square minus v. This term is called Hamiltonian operator, given by this capital H in upper part. This is a cap Hamiltonian operator. This is the energy operator into psi is equal to E psi, where E is the energy or the eigenvalue of the particle. You can see that this term is given by H. So it is called Hamiltonian operator or energy operator. Having solved the wave equation of the Schrödinger equation, what are the result we get? First, by solving the Schrödinger equation, you will get the value psi, which is a wave function. So the wave function psi is a solution of Schrödinger equation, and it describes the behavior of an electron in a region of space, which is called atomic orbital. So by this way, the concept of atomic orbital comes into the picture. In the next video, I will talk about this atomic orbital in detail. We can find the energy value that are associated with particular wave function. So for a particular wave function, we can determine its energy, all these properties. The quantization of energy levels arises naturally from the Schrödinger equation. Automatically quantization comes naturally. So therefore the definition of wave function is like that. The wave function is a mathematical function that contains detailed information about the behavior of an electron. An atomic wave function consists of two parts. One is radial part given by this capital R, which is depend on this position r smaller from the nucleus, and the angular component, which is written as capital A, which is a function of theta and phi. The region of space defined by this wave function is called atomic orbital. You can see this from this figure. A particle at any point here from the nucleus is given by this distance theta, given by distance r, and this angle theta and phi. So this is its radial part and this angular part, which describe its position in the three-dimensional space. So psi can be written as psi, which is a function of x, y, z, can be defined as two parts: radial component psi radial, psi angular, and psi angular can be written as this capital R and this capital A. And this radial component capital R depends on the quantum number n and L. The n is the principal quantum number and L is this azimuthal quantum number. Whereas this angular part theta and phi depends on L and ml, and L is this azimuthal quantum number and ml is the magnetic quantum number, and the component should be really written as this overall R into capital A, depends on this R theta phi. So basically this quantum number, principal quantum number n, azimuthal quantum number L, and magnetic quantum number, all of these three quantum number coming out from this Schrödinger wave equation. By solving the Schrödinger wave equation psi, one can get this value n, L and ml. Now let us do the workout example on quantum number and atomic orbital. Then in the next video I will talk about in detail about this quantum number and atomic orbital. The question says that given the principal quantum number n is equal to 2, write down all the allowed values of L and ml and determine the number of atomic orbital possible for n is equal to 2. So first you have to know that for a given value of n, for a given value of principal quantum number n is equal to 2, for the allowed values of L are 0, 1, 2 to n minus 1. So for example, n is equal to 2, the L value can be 0 or and 1. So for a particular value of n, the L value will be 0, 1, 2 to up to n minus 1. So therefore for n is equal to 2, you can see that the L value can be 0 and 1. And for magnetic quantum number ml value will be minus L to plus L. So therefore for L is equal to 0, ml value will be 0, but for L is equal to 1, ml value will be minus L to plus L, that is minus 1 minus 0 is 0 and plus 1. So you can see that for a given quantum number, principal quantum number n is equal to 2, there is 4 possible orbital is given by this set of quantum number, and all of this set of quantum number represents a particular orbital. For example, this set of quantum number 200 represents the orbital 2s orbital. This set of quantum number n is equal to 2l1 and ml minus 1, it represents a particular set of quantum number. It is 2px or 2py. This quantum number 210, it is also represents a special orbital. It is represented 2pz, and this part of set of quantum number, it gives another set of orbital 2py. So each set of 3 quantum number n, l and ml defines a particular orbital, atomic orbital. So therefore n is equal to 2. There are 4 atomic orbital is possible for this set of quantum number. Similarly, you can calculate for n is equal to 3 how many atomic orbital are possible. You can similarly calculate the value of L. Then there will be 0, 1, 2, and the ml value will be similarly for L is equal to 0, L is equal to 1 and L is equal to 2, and you can calculate and you can check out the answer. Thank you.